Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby!
Who is up?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
Hey guys, it's Matt. Throwing out another bonus episode. We've actually been pretty on top of bonus episodes. I think we've had one out every week for the month of May and most of April, which is pretty cool. I don't expect that all the time, but here we are now. So one of the things that I think is really cool lately is we've really been kicking it up on this Patreon page. And one of the things that we promised you guys was every month we'd get you a bonus episode. So for the people who pay $5 a month, they get a bonus episode of Horror Movie Night. So we will each pick a movie. Me, Scott, Brian, and myself will pick a movie and we'll put it up for a poll early on the month prior. So in a couple of weeks, we'll have the poll up for July. We've already done the poll for June just to help us with our schedules to make sure that we're able to stay on top of it. And once we have a winner, then we will record the episode and put it out at some point, usually in the middle of the month. And the first thing that people voted on was I almost said the Hunger Games, was The Wicker Man. And this is the episode that we did for the first half. So the beginning of every episode is us talking about what options were on the poll and what people voted for. So we're probably going to keep that tradition going. Each time that one of these Patreon episodes drops, you'll get the little preview of like, oh, this is what it could have been if I had paid $1 or more on the Patreon. I could have voted to go towards that. And, you know, we've been really pushing a lot. And I'm sorry. I know that this is infuriating. But that's why I make these bonus episodes. The Patreon, if you are interested, it's $1 to be able to vote for these movies, and you'll get the newsletter. And then for $5 a month, you get the newsletter, you get to vote for these movies, and for the time being, you get this one bonus episode. But we are focusing on, in the near future, probably in September, a secondary bonus series that would only be available on the Patreon. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. But here is the first, 5-6 minutes of the Patreon bonus episode. If you want to hear the rest, just hop over to patreon.com/HMN podcast, and you can, get it, I guess. All right, bye, guys. Hello, Patreon! This is the first of what will hopefully be many, 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 at least monthly, bonus Patreon episodes. Stay tuned. I hope you guys are feeling like you're getting $5 worth. I know that Scott and I are kicking around the idea of there being another bonus series that doesn't go on the main feed, that's strictly for you Patreon donators as well. And we'll get to that probably after the summer's over. But for this first episode, before we dive into The Wicker Man, which you guys have graciously voted for us to watch, I wanted to take a quick second for Brian and I, and then Scott, to talk about the movies that we did put up for the vote and why we picked those, and how we're feeling about that losing out to Wicker Man. Brian, do you want to start? I believe you had Clock Stoppers.
Oh, that was what I put in. Yes, I had Clock Stoppers because I was watching this movie with Jade, because my girlfriend actually enjoys really shitty horror movies, and I forget what it was called, but it was about a killer elevator.
The Lift.
Oh,
it might have been Lift. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So then she went to shower and Clock Stoppers came on, and I was just like, this is awesome. Like it is just, it is so, yeah, it is so entertainingly awful that I want to watch it. And that's pretty much it. It wasn't a good movie. It was just a Nickelodeon movie, and it had French Stewart in it, which is pretty awesome. So,
I was going to apologize for Wicker Man winning, but I am so glad that Clockstoppers didn't win, because French Stewart needs to be erased from pop culture forever.
I think Brian only wanted to pick it so that he could do his French Stewart impersonation.
I can't do a French Stewart impersonation, unfortunately. But here's the thing. He works on the clock. And this is really what sold me was because this is Nickelodeon, man. That's a company that has money. And French Stewart was testing out the clock. And the thing was, he could stop time, but it also aged him very much when he would go back to time. So him aging was just like someone sprayed gray hair on him, and he looked exactly the same.
Okay, and Brian, the elevator movie that you watched was either The Lift or the remake from the exact same writer and director, Down.
I think it was Down.
Okay. So the movie that I was putting up into the polls, and it was kind of, so here's the thing. I cheat a little bit because I'm the one that puts the poll up. So I get what Brian and Scott are picking. And then based on their picks, I go, all right, well, I'm pretty sure this one's going to win. So here's like a throwaway one. But if I feel like one of my movies has a chance, then I like double down on it. So I didn't think that anyone was going to vote for Clifford. But it's a movie that is a film that Brian and I watched way too much as children, in which Martin Short plays a 12-year-old boy.
God, if you had to put me in a room with, if I had to choose to be stuck in a room for 2 hours with French Stewart or Martin Short, I don't know what I would tell you. I don't know what I would pick, because those are the two most obnoxious motherfuckers in the world.
So not only does it have Martin Short in the movie, it also has, oh shit, I'm going blank. The mom from Step Brothers. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Not Shelley Duvall, but she always reminds me of Shelley Duvall. And the dad from Beethoven. So the two of them are in the movie. It's a stupid movie, but the only reason that I was thinking about it was that there is a scene at the end of the movie that is like so absurdly dark. And the concept is that Martin Short plays this 12-year-old kid, and he's super obnoxious, and he's obsessed with dinosaurs. And there's an amusement park called Dinosaur World that his uncle Martin was one of the designers on one of the dinosaurs. So he purposely causes a plane to crash and for him to get kicked off the plane so he can stay with his uncle Martin. And hopefully his Uncle Martin will take him to Dinosaur World. So the end of the movie is basically his Uncle Martin going so crazy that he straps Martin Short to the Dinosaur World ride and just makes him ride it for hours until the ride actually starts to break and Martin Short is dangling over a giant animatronic Tyrannosaurus Rex head that like the skin is melting off. So it's like half dinosaur skin, half like metal. And his uncle's just like, he's like, why should I save you? The world would be better if you were dead right now, Clifford. And like, it's just this really fucking dark ending to the movie. But man, there is some quotable shit in that movie. But I know that it will never, ever win one of these. So maybe I'll try again in like a year. But
please don't.
What we should really start doing possibly is when we set the poll, just record, each get like a 30-second elevator pitch on the movie.
No, I don't think this is a good idea because then Clifford would have fucking won.
I know. That's why it's a great idea.
All right, so Scott, before we dive into The Wicker Man, what made you decide that The Wicker Man was what you were going to inflict on us?
Oh, this was easy. This was just because it was May, and I was like, May poll. Because you were like, for the May poll, POLL, and I was thinking of the original Wicker Man, where the whole point is that it's a fertility thing. The maypole, POLE, is a reference to the male genitalia. And so that was the word association that brought us to this abortion of a film.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.